Alright, what is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Commander Guide. Today we will be doing Kerrigan. Let's get right into it. So, we're going to take a look at the Kerrigan mindset, Kerrigan's units, Kerrigan's strategy, and overall gameplay. I'm going to turn into laser pointer mode because that looks cooler. Oh my goodness. So, if you guys are new here, be sure to, drop a sub for more Commander Guides and Direct Strike. I do weekly Brawl gameplay every single day of the week, and I will be also releasing some other videos related to Direct Strike, as well as some other videos that are not related to Direct Strike. So yeah, if you guys like what you see here, be sure to drop a sub so you can keep up. And go check out my other guides as well, because I've got plenty more of them. So, I think here's the generic Kerrigan mindset. When in doubt, Ultralisk. It doesn't really explain much. Kerrigan doesn't have a lot of units to choose from to begin with. She's got like a Zergling, a Queen, Hydralisk, Mutalisk, Ultralisk, and a Broodlord, and also a Lurker. So basically, Kerrigan's options are very limited to begin with. And if you're not quite sure what you're gonna do, you should just get an Ultralisk to start off. It's tier 3 all the way. I mean, I shouldn't say you should just get an Ultralisk to start off, but like, you should build towards it, because your tier 2 is very fragile. Your tier 1 basically is also very fragile. So everything kind of centers around your Ultralisk in some way. And at the end of the day, Kerrigan is all about spamming lots and lots of the same units. So quantity is a quality of its own. All right, so let's look at Kerrigan's units here. First up, we have tier 1. Kerrigan's tier 1 is a lot stronger than it looks. You have access to Kerrigan herself, which is, you know, a must buy, her being the hero. So it's 350 minerals. You can probably buy it on the first wave. If you're the first player, you probably can't buy it if you gas. So I think it's probably more ideal to buy Kerrigan and then gas after, so you miss out on a little bit of gas, but you have Kerrigan, who is like, he's got like, I believe she starts out with 600 HP, and every time she kills something, she gets health permanently, up to a bonus of 200, and then you have some other things you can buy for her that will give her a maximum health total of 1,000. So default skills, as the Queen of the Swarm, she has a leaping strike, which just leaps to a target and deals 150 damage to it. It's got no cooldown, it's just limited by energy usage, as well as it's got like a retreat option, which will automatically like make Kerrigan go backwards to safety if she's like low on health. You can turn it on or off if you want. And she also has Psionic Shift, which makes her dash through a bunch of stuff, and it deals 25 damage to everything it hits. Generally quite powerful. It's very powerful once you have her on tier 2, because there is good synergy with one of her upgrades. So second mode, we have Desolate Queen. So Desolate Queen's Kinetic Blast is essentially dealing 150 damage, but instead of jumping to the location, she does it at range. So I actually prefer Desolate Queen, because Kerrigan doesn't like jump right into the middle and then like end up taking all the aggro and dying. So she actually like lays down the beatdown. So actually I like Desolate Queen. Crushing Grip is very like niche usage. It just stuns a bunch of units in like a really small sort of AoE, and they all take 25 damage. I mean, why not? It's not bad. And then she also has her ultimate, which is a ability that unlocks at tier 3 only, and it has a 7-minute initial cooldown. So even if you like bum rush to tier 3, you can't get it. So it's called Immobilization Wave. She gets 2 charges. I believe she gets 1 charge every I think it's like every minute or so. And so when you use it, she stuns all enemies in a large radius around her, and ground units take 10 damage and air units take 100 damage instead. So overall, pretty strong. Kerrigan really needs that extra 100 damage, especially on air units, because oh my god, her like aerial capacities are very, very limited. All right, so here we go. Kerrigan upgrades. So at tier 1, once you buy her, you can get Heroic Fortitude. It gives her 200 HP. It also gives her 100% bonus like HP regen. You don't really notice that, but like I guess like it's better than not having it. Tier 2 is pretty good. Chain Reaction is a great synergy with the Leaping Strike, or the one that like dashes through, the Psionic Shift, I think. because when you deal 25 damage to say a bunch of Zerglings, and then you just hit all of them with chain reaction, that'll quickly dispatch of a large crowd. And Fury also synergizes well with chain reaction because it increases her attack speed by 10%, up to a bonus of 50% every time she attacks. So Kerrigan can be attacking pretty fast. And then tier 3 and also unlocks ability efficiency, means that her abilities can be cast more frequently because they cost less energy per cast. So that's Kerrigan. And here are her Zerglings. I would say Kerrigan's Zerglings are probably the strongest Zerglings in the game because of how cheap they are and of how much damage they have. They have a base attack of 7, and so at 3/3, they have 10 attack. They actually leap towards enemy units, so that's really good. You want to pair these with Ultralisk. You probably don't want to buy these alone because at the end of the day, by themselves, they are still just Zerglings. So I actually would not recommend getting Zerglings early. I would recommend getting Zerglings like kind of halfway into the game. It's kind of strange, actually. I don't know. You could open with Zerglings, but there's a very high chance you run into stuff that like hard counters them like almost immediately. So maybe save your money for your more useful units first. Tier 1 upgrades are Metabolic Boost and Shredding Claws. Shredding Claws is a must-buy. Metabolic Boost is great, but you could buy it later. You don't have to buy it right away. Shredding Claws removes all the base armor of a unit. It doesn't remove any bonus armor the unit gets from any like sort of effects or like other sorts of buffs. So the enemy unit could still have armor, but in general, very good. It makes the Zergling do huge amounts of damage. Okay, next we have our Zerglings tier 2 upgrades. We have Hardened Carapace, which gives plus 10 HP, so you just gotta buy it. It's only 50 minerals. And then we have Adrenal Glands, which increases Zergling attack speed, which you also want, but that's at tier 3. All right, and then we have the Queen. So the Queen is very good with Kerrigan. You could do a thing where you open with Kerrigan and then like support her with like 2 to 3 queens. The queens aren't really there for DPS. They're really just there to heal Kerrigan, and Kerrigan is there to do damage. They heal for quite a hefty amount. You can also use the queens to heal Ultralisk later on in the game. I personally do not build too many support units, so I cannot be the best judge of how to use them, but I have seen them being used in that way, where you just get them to heal Kerrigan, and it's decently effective for maybe like the first like 3 to 4 minutes of the game, but you shouldn't count on it. You should just use it to set up for a transition into something better in the late game. So that's about it. I've also put down Kerrigan's like heroic ability here, Malignant Creep, because I thought, you know, it would fit here. Queens don't place any of the creep, but like you place them in your hotbar. I'll show you guys in game. But yeah, creep spawns around her nexus, and then you can place more creep on top of the creep. You know, that's how it works. And then any unit that is Kerrigan's gets 30% attack speed while it is on top of the area that the creep covers. So Mutalisk still get the bonus of the creep. I've tried it, so I know. So this 30% attack speed bonus is really strong, and like as your creep goes forward, it basically just scales how strong your army is. So Kerrigan really does kind of scale harder into late game, but you also have to amass more units. But that is sort of like just the Kerrigan strategy in general. Just get lots and lots of units. All right, tier 2. Tier 2 we have Mutalisk. Well, most of our DPS is in tier 2, so we have Mutalisk. So let's look at these guys. These guys are just like, they're really, really strong, but they're also really, really vulnerable. So it's basically like the best of the best and the worst of the worst. So their upgrades, Vicious Glaive, causes their bounces to hit 6 targets instead of the regular 3. And then their Severing Glaive causes the bounce to do full damage. So the potential is you have a giant Mutaflock and it does full damage to 6 targets. That will absolutely devour a whole wave if your opponents do not have any AoE. So it's great versus like guys like Karax, and I would say sometimes Phoenix, because like Phoenix actually does have good answers to Mutalisk. But commanders who like kind of struggle versus Mutalisk, like these things will just take them home. But very few commanders really truly struggle against Mutalisk. I think actually Zagara struggles against Mutalisk as well. So actually this is a perfect choice in those situations. Now, here we have the Hydralisk, arguably the unit that you will build in most situations if you need any amount of DPS. It's basically just a super strong Marine, and it does huge amounts of damage. I mean, what else is there to say about it? So you gotta buy Frenzy. This is basically just giving the Hydralisk a stim pack, just increases attack speed like to some crazy amount, 50%, and it just goes. And then you have to buy Ancillary Carapace because Hydralisks are quite fragile. They only have 80 health, so the Carapace gives it 20 more. So now they have 100 health, so they will survive slightly more things or for slightly longer. And then finally, you should also probably get the Muscular Augments because it increases the attack range and move speed while on creep. And who doesn't want attack range on your Hydras? So basically, Hydras, like, you're going to get them in most situations. There are some situations where you don't want to buy Hydras. For example, when you are against a bunch of Banshee havers. Like, anyone who has Banshees, especially Rainer's Banshees, is going to give your Hydralisk a bad time. So that's when you don't buy them and you switch to something else. And underneath the Hydralisk is the Lurker. So if you right click while you're in the shop on the Hydralisk, it will switch to the option to buy a Lurker. Lurker is your only siege unit. It's not the greatest when you only have one of them, but the more of them that you have, the better they are actually because of the effect of the spines. They just sort of all stack on top of each other, like back to back to back. So yeah, that's this gets pretty strong in that way. Some situations do demand Lurkers, but they are much more niche pick. They're not like your siege tank or anything, so it is a little bit tough to decide when best to use them. Usually you want to buy them like pretty late into the game, because of the way their attacks happen. Their splash damage often doesn't trigger, especially when your opponents are on top of you. Their splash damage only triggers when your opponents are directly in front of you. So that means you have to have a strong front line to hold things in place, and then the Lurkers can start like just reaping. But until that happens, they're not that great. All right, move on to tier 3. So Kerrigan's tier 3, like literally gives her one of the best units, and also the Broodlord. So the Broodlord is literally only useful in one matchup, and that's when you face Tychus. You have to buy Broodlords if you want to beat Tychus. There are some niche situations. For example, if you are in like a Brawl, which gives your Hydralisk stim or any amounts of increased attack speed, Hydralisk will be better than Broodlords. But in your regular commander, Broodlords are what you got to do against Tychus. Because they have long range, they summon little lings that will distract Tychus units and like sort of keep them at bay. They're not even that great because like, I don't know, like Broodlords would be good if Kerrigan had like an air superiority Zerg creature, but Kerrigan only has a Mutalisk, and Mutalisk are not known for their ability to stay alive for a long time in the fight against AoE. So yeah, Broodlords are bad because of that. Like you're spending money for a unit you can't really protect, and it does not protect itself. So you really only build it in a situation where you're against Tychus. Like if you wanted to build a siege unit, you might as well build a Lurker, because at least your Lurkers are protected by all the other units you've also built on the ground. So that's my take on the Broodlord. Please do not build it. It's a literal meme. And now we have Kerrigan's best unit, the Tarask, or her Ultralisk. Literally, I would say this is probably the best Ultralisk in the game because of all the upgrades that you can get and because of how cheap it is relative to what you get. So there's 3 upgrades. We got Burrow Charge, Tissue Assimilation, and Chitinous Plating. So Burrow Charge, very, very simple. Lets the Ultralisk just tunnel and like pop up, so it lets you charge closer into battle really quickly. Tissue Assimilation is really good. Whenever an Ultras attacks something, it heals for 10 HP, and then anything caught in its cleave AoE also heals it for 2 HP. So an Ultras could be healing a lot, especially because Ultras attack super fast, and if they're on the creep, they attack even faster. It could literally chew up like a whole swarm of Zerglings and still be on full health, or maybe even a swarm of like Zealots. And Chitinous Plating gives it 2 extra armor. You gotta buy this as well. So when would you go Ultralisk? You would go it when you're against a matchup where you literally cannot build an Air Force because your opponents are too strong in the air, and you literally cannot build Hydralisk to counter them because they're also too strong in the air. So then you just buy a bunch of Ultralisk and try and run them over. That's literally it. Usually it's of decent efficacy. It's like decently effective. But yeah, like there are some matchups where like you just gotta go Ultras and like go hard. So that's it. Let's look at some general builds. So we got the Ground Crusher composition, very plain and simple. You know, you need your Ultras as front line. You want to sprinkle in Zerglings in front of and next to and around your ultras, so that they might take some heavy AoE, like or some heavy attacks, like say a Wrathwalker blast the Zergling instead of blasting your Ultralisk. That's great. So you want to intermingle those guys. You want Hydralisk for your like just all around general DPS, and then only very late in the game or like later into the game should you consider some Lurkers, because Lurkers are just their DPS is not the highest, and like their AoE potential does not really exist unless they're behind a solid front line. This does take some time to build up. I would suggest probably like depending on the situation, you can either go Kerrigan into tier 2, buy some Hydralisk, and then go tier 3 and Ultralisk, or you can go straight to tier 3, get Ultralisk, and then later on buy Hydralisk. Usually the latter is what you would do if there is a strong aerial presence, and then you can just try and like force your opponents to come and fight you on the ground by like just running past them with Ultralisk. But yeah, that is the Ground Crusher build. And we have some support units here as well. We have some Queens. I guess I added Zerglings twice, but you know, Zerglings are still important. But yeah. And now we have the I'm against Karax build. This build is very good against Karax, Zagara, Dahaka, and Alarak, or even another Kerrigan. So the reason behind it is your Mutalisk Splash, very potent, and it will literally destroy anyone who cannot drop AoE on them quickly. So Karax has no real AoE besides his like orbital barrage. That is kind of helpful, but the only thing that he really has that's really good is his laser beam, and the laser beam happens every like 4 minutes, so you literally can just be like laugh it off. You will obliterate most of his mirages. I think Karax can only do carriers because then maybe the carriers won't suffer the bounce as hard, but that's his only solution. Zagara's literal only anti-air option in the air is Corruptors and Scourge. Scourge have to get close and they have very low health, so Mutalisk will literally just devour all of them. And Corruptors, well, they're just gonna die, and then the bounce is gonna bounce to the Scourge that are inside of them and then kill off the Scourge. So basically helpless. And Hunter Killers will have to fight the Mutalisk one-on-one, while the Mutalisk like just group swarm 6 AoE them, and so yeah, get that. Kerrigan is also the same thing, because Kerrigan has no answer to her own Mutalisk besides her own like immobilization wave. So in a Kerrigan matchup, like mirror match, just go Mutalisk and just get good basically. Yeah, the Haka's Mutalisk, because they are bigger and cost more, and you can't get as many of them, you will like rip him to shreds with this as well. His only real option is to get a Tyrannosaur, and even then it's not reliable because the Tyrannosaur Spike Burst only hits like if the Mutalisk are super close and up in his face, and so there's a chance that the Tyrannosaur just does not hit either. So Dahaka is really helpless against Mutalisk as well, and so is Alarak, because literally Alarak's only choice is to go Ascendance and like slowly feed the Ascendant until it gets strong enough to like irradiate and one-shot the Mutalisk. But by that time in the game, it may be too late. So that's why Mutalisk is actually very viable against any commander who has any form of AoE whatsoever, like Psystorm, Widow Mines, I don't know, Rainer Vikings. Like just do something else basically. Don't do Mutalisk because they're a huge commitment and like they could just blow up in your face. All right, let's look at some hard counters. So we already talked about high like AoE countering Kerrigan because it basically eliminates her air option, but AoE is also very strong against her Hydralisk, which are our main DPS, and you combine high like AoE with high single target DPS. I'm looking at Artanis right now, to be honest. That's actually very, very dangerous. Also with Phoenix as well, I would say, because Phoenix has got Colossi, Immortal, and Adepts. Those are really good because those will chunk your Ultralisk really quickly while also tearing through your Hydralisk as well. Reavers and Archons kind of do something similar as well. And I would say Vanguards are decently strong. Maybe not as strong as the Ultralisk because the Ultralisk just jump them. But yeah, fast siege tanks are very dangerous, as well as large amounts of Banelings or Baneling-like creatures, because while your Ultras have a lot of health, they like still will take some splash damage, and they still will eventually get chunked down. And so those are kind of some things you have to deal with as a Ground Crusher. Oh my god, I completely forgot to mention the Ultralisk's ability, that it gets to reborn itself one time when it dies, and this is by default. Like every single Kerrigan Ultra gets a second life. So it does help absorb a lot more damage, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be in a bit of trouble if like you can't like out absorb it all, I guess. All right. As well, if you're against any air dominating commanders such as Ranger Banshees, Stukov Banshees to a slightly lesser extent, they're like much thicker, but like they don't do AoE, so like it's a little bit more reasonable to deal with them. But against air dominating commanders, you're literally helpless because your only air unit is the Mutalisk. And the Mutalisk is really bad against stuff like Corsairs and Vipers or like enemy Liberators. And sometimes your opponents have those in large numbers. So you are basically just stuck to buying Mask Ultralisk, basically. Those are pretty hard matchups, but they're interesting because it means you can never partake in an air battle. So you just got to pray to God your opponents never decide to build air supremacy. But in most cases, when they do, you just have to try and buy as many Ultras to drive under them. And hope your teammates can clean up the other stuff, because like a large group of ultras running at you is still going to be a problem. Like they'll still do damage and like force you to have to respond, right? So yeah. Let's go on to some gameplay. All right, let's get to it, boys. All right, since I'm in the first slot, we're gonna take our own advice and buy Kerrigan first. To be fair, I don't play Kerrigan that much outside of... I mean, I don't play the non-Brawl weeks much, because I literally only strictly play Brawl. And so Brawl and like regular Direct Strike is like a whole different beast entirely. Ideally, you would like to micro your Kerrigan around here. That is just like the ideal setup, you know? Okay, so what's my girl
You're
at?
trying my patience. Not recommended.
Got ability efficiency, and I'm against a Nova.
I am the swarm.
Okay, well you can see you can easily run over Nova here pretty nicely. Jump.
You're trying my patience.
Alright, oh yeah, she got a gas. There we go. Boom. Okay, so against Nova, she's gonna have Hellbat Rangers, which will be a bit of a pain. But Nova's mostly ground-based, but if she buys a bunch of Liberators, you are in trouble. Well, not completely, because Liberators have to choose between attacking air and attacking ground, and so you can mix and match some Ultras and some Mutalisks. So I think what I'm going to do is actually go tier 2. Should I summon some Lings? Here, I'll do it as intended, boys. I'm gonna get a Queen or something. Actually, a Queen might get sniped. I'm gonna buy some Lings. I'll buy a few Lings. Buy a handful of these little critters. Let's see. I usually don't like getting the Kerrigan upgrades too early, if it can be helped.
I am the swarm.
Number 2, switch you over to Desolate Queen. Okay, so she's in shotgun mode. So shotgun's pretty crazy. That's why you don't want to get Lings really. Boom, there we go.
I am the swarm.
What I'll do is put the Lings on the side for now. Like that. So she's in shotgun mode. I think is she literally just rushing libs? So she's just literally rushing libs, and like that'll be a big game. Shotgun's really good against Hydralisks because they are light. We're going Ultralisk, boys. I'm gonna follow my own advice. When in doubt, Ultralisk. In general, I think that's like a pretty good Kerrigan, mantra, because Ultras are just such a strong and like sturdy unit. You can't go wrong with them. Boswell here just entertaining a bunch of zealots here. Oh my god, and the Madland is gonna survive. I'm on 2 gas already. Probably shouldn't do this, but yeah. Okay, there we go. We got a bunch of Hellbat Rangers.
You're trying
So there we go. Hellbat Rangers.
Recommended.
Boom, boom. Just double blast that thing real quick.
I am the swarm.
Boom. I'm pretty sure Nova doesn't say. Oh man, she went to shotgun mode. This guy's really trying. He switched between shotgun and snipe mode like twice. Like between our wave spawning. So he's really trying, boys. He's really trying. Alright, well, let's just introduce him to the Ultralisk here. Get ourselves a Tarask here. I don't know why this guy's Ghost. Ghost versus Tychus is a bit of a meme. Should probably get some Liberators. Like, please. Immortals. That is a good choice. Very good choice, especially against me.
I am the swarm.
Let's see here, that's it. Oh, it's a 2-second stun. It's pretty good. 2-second stun. Okay, let's get a tissue assimilation. Again, that. Boom. Boom. We're assimilating, boys. Yeah, you can see here, we're just gonna cleave our way through with a singular Ultralisk here. No problem.
You're trying my patience.
And there we go. I'm gonna put that down. Let's get another one of these. Like, the Ultra is just such a solid unit. You just can't go wrong with it. It's hard to kill. You know. Okay, a bunch of snipes coming in here, but the snipes aren't gonna last forever, you know? Like, we're gonna need, oh my god, he has a Nikara. Why? Why does he have a Nikara? Anyways. EMP is actually going to be pretty good against the Immortals, because the Immortals have, like, quite a lot of health on their shields. Oh, they only have 100 health now on the shield here. Oh, couldn't get another Ultra, so let's get some Ultra upgrades. Chitinous Plating, Burrow Charge. And I'm going to get Kerrigan's Fury and Chain Reaction, and her ability efficiency, because that's really strong. Gotta get that. So I think I might face some Ghosts. Oh no, I'm going to face some Marauder Commandos. Okay. And that is actually a nightmare for my Ultras. We're going to get bodied here. Like, so hard. You can see this egg is really tanky though. The egg has 10 armor, I think, on top of the Ultra's base armor. I think it has that, or it just might just have 10 armor. But either way, it's very tough. So I guess in this situation, we will need some Zerglings. So you do want to pair them up, you know, because Immortals are completely worthless against Zerglings. The Zerglings will just take them down real quick. Kill Boswell coming in. Yeah, I should also get more Ultras. The more Ultras you have, the better, because then, like, they spread the damage between them out really nicely. Okay, got some Spinny Boys. I think Boswell's just going to out-heal, or heal very hard. Which is going to be very good. Extra health, Adrenal Glands. For example, your Shredding Claws will not get rid of the Jump Jet. The Jump Jet Assault's bonus armor, which is a shame, I know. But yeah. Ultras are actually pretty tanky, so they can easily survive the Marauder Commandos. So Marauder Commandos actually aren't the best choice here. But we take those. Kev is going to really, really hammer us. He does do so much damage, but you can see here, we're pushing through. Nikara is really helping out here. Let's see what we got. We got a bunch of Zealots. Lots of Zealots. Let's get some more Ultras. I think at around 5 Ultras, it's not a bad point to start considering some other things, such as some Ultras. Or some high haste. But for now, we shall use what we have. I'm going to put Shredding Claws and level up weapons once. That's pretty good. Hey, this is ready. Yeah, every 2 minutes we're going to get charged. Go boom, boom, boom. Disable. Get them, boys. Lings coming on the side. You always want your Lings to kind of come out on the side. Lings that come out the front, they just get melted at the same time. Let's see. Gonna need a bit more damage there. Okay, I think this is the part where we start buying some Hydras, I think. To be fair. Oh my god, the Ghosts are not doing anything. I think the Ghosts are hitting Kev, and the Marauders are hitting Nikara. So basically they're hitting the unit they're not specialized against, which is a big meme. Okay. Hydra? I need to buy more than the Hydras I have right now, but Hydra. Let's get some of this gas going as well. Oh, we got a Reaver coming in. That is a very, very interesting choice. Not a bad one, I guess. Okay, let's get that here. Let's cleave. Come on, tanks. I think I need more Lings on the side. I need my Ling line on the left and right to be twice as thick. At the very least. Oof. Okay, a lot of residual units left over here. That's pretty bad. Should probably not get this gas 3 minutes in, so I can not too secure. But then again, I need more DPS right now. There's a car beeping outside. Nice move. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. T3 for libs, and then I'm gonna try and like thicken this line of Lings here. There we go. There we go. Just thicken it, boys. We're gonna need a range first. Need that attack range. We do have immobilization wave, so that can be done. That can be done. And then just immobilize. Because the Lings can still like do huge amounts of damage. I can just cleave right through here. Oh, we made it through there. You can see here. Look at that. Look at that power. And we just need the Hydralisk to just go. The Hydralisk do so much damage. As long as they survive, they are so powerful. Okay, there we go. We just helped out that Nova wave so much. Nova just came in and destroyed everything. Okay, I'm gonna need another Ultra here. Oh, I just realized this wave placement is like unideal. It's like 1, 2. Just trying to be symmetrical right now. Okay, I'm gonna put down our Ultra here, and then I'm gonna get a gas. Ultra, gas, and then more of this. Yeah, Kerrigan's ground crusher ability is pretty strong. I would say Nova should have just went Libs. Like, Liberators would absolutely dominate Kerrigan. Mostly because I think maybe she is going Libs now, because she does have tier 3. But yeah, the Lings are coming in here. They're really trying to shield it up. We are trying to push through here. Ooh. There we go, I'm getting my third gas here. 10 minutes, third gas, let's do it. We got Libs coming in here. Libs will be good. Libs also don't focus fire on Kev. Not Kev, Blaze. Blaze is so strong. Oh my god. Our allied Nova's wave is actually really, really weak. Because they have nothing but casters versus Tychus. Should really get something else. Let's do that, and then let's do that. There we go. Get those going. This is not symmetrical whatsoever, is it? Maybe if it was like this. Yeah, that's pretty symmetrical. Okay. Tanks just sieged up. I'm trying to disrupt here. Holy, that is too much. That is too much. And there's Libs coming in. Ooh, we're in trouble. Artanis' wave is so big. Do we have what it takes here to hold? Oh, it's looking a little spicy here. Let's see. I mean, the tanks are getting shot up here, so that's not too bad. Now suddenly a Tychus mirror, and now I'm suddenly against Artanis. Oh, yikes. That's actually a bit tough. You know what? Just more Hydras. More Hydras is what I need. More Hydras, more power. I see more Hydras, and then probably some more Lurkers. Not Lurkers. Actually, yeah, Lurkers would be good, but some more Ultras. No, it should be fine. Yeah, I need some more Ultras though, because my Ultras are mostly shredded. Attack. Increase this here. You can see here, my Hydras are only still alive because of the thick wall of Ultralisk that have been protecting them. So it's very important that you have a thick wall of Ultralisk. Like, without Ultralisk, nothing else is possible. Ultralisk are life. Ultralisk are love. So I should probably get some more Ultras here. Yeah, I have to help Nova's wave. Nova's wave can't take any extra additional, like, enemies. Like, any amount of extra additional enemies, it immediately just folds and dies. Let's do another one of these. More Lings. I can probably do Lings like 3 rows, like 3 Lings deep actually, if it comes down to it. And then more Hydras. I like to put my Hydras in this sort of like diagonal formation, because then it creates like a concave firing arc. Give me an Ancillary Carapace. Can't believe I don't have that yet. I think what I want is actually some melee weapon upgrades. And then, let's see, boom, 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 and an ult. Bam. That'll give us the cannon. 100%. Hydra's gonna melt tape. Lings are gonna be everywhere. Nikara somehow found herself in the front. Don't know how that always happens. Alright, come on, Hydras. Oh my god, Blaze is so thick. 4 armor? Well, that wave is finished. Let's pack them in here. Pack in some Hydras here. Liberator's going uncontested. Oh no, there's Tempest. There's Tempest. But like, there's like 1 or 2 Tempests. So uncontested libs are pretty nice. Libs are gonna take a while to get through those Tempests though. So we got that. Oh my god, and the shield. Yeah, they're not getting through that Tempest. Okay, well I'm gonna gas up here and then go for another Ultra, because that is the correct way to do things right now. Front line has been shredded. Ultra's coming in. I think in this case, because we're not strictly facing Tychus, I think what I have should be okay. No, I don't think what I have should be okay. I'm getting completely shredded here. I can't get through him. I have to get Brood Lords. Well, let's make it happen. Let's get some Brood Lords up in here. Let's see. Should I be getting Brood Lords? Thinking. Think, Mark. Think. Oh my. Okay, I spammed that a little too hard. Probably more wings. More wings are always appreciated. Let's get that Ling move speed. Get that going. Only the siege line remains, but the siege line is very, very effective against what Tychus has. Big disrupt here. Get some weapon upgrades. Let's just go meltate. Get him. Get him. Oh yeah, let's go. Never mind, we have what it takes. We got it, boys. We got it. That is the Ground Crusher Kerrigan at its finest. Nice. I mean, for reference, if Nova just went Libs first, like, I would actually have a hard problem. Like, I would actually have a hard time. And Libs first would kind of challenge Tychus on our team here. Look at that damage output, boys. Not bad. Not bad. But our Tychus got most of the kills. Well, that's our commander guide. I hope this has been insightful and will help you take your Kerrigan game to the next level. Although, to be honest, Kerrigan's pretty straightforward. It's not really that hard to play. And yeah, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and share it with anyone who would need some help on their Kerrigan gameplay. And yeah, until next time, I will see you guys later.
In the rear with the gear. The tires. Let's light some fires. Need a light. They picked the wrong fight.